Hey everyone, Jim here. I want to start with a little story. A few days ago, I was watching a great video by Alec over at Technology Connections and Technology Connextras. Those are fantastic channels and I recommend both of them. I'll have links below. Alec was breaking down level 1 and level 2 EV charging, and he dropped this line that stopped me cold. He said,
"The last people you should be getting advice from when it comes to electric cars are electric car enthusiasts."
When he said that, I headed straight to the comments and typed, "Seriously?" Consider that gauntlet picked up. So Alec, this one's for you. And for everyone in the YouTube space who thinks EV enthusiasts are just here to hype the latest technology in electric cars, talk about the DC fast charge infrastructure, which is important when you do a road trip, do cross-country EV races, 10 to 70 charging challenges, and then they skip the nuances and details of owning and living with an EV. Well, I'm here to prove those people wrong. Let's talk about home EV charging. For real. For everyone. At every level. So picture this. You buy an electric vehicle, you drive it home, and plug it in, just like your phone. And just like your phone, you wake up the next morning with a full battery. You've paid pennies on the dollar compared to gas. There were no detours to a gas station, no waiting in line at Costco or Sam's Club to save 20 cents a gallon, and more importantly, there were no $5 a gallon gut punches. Now, for 65 to 67% of American households, that's already a good possibility if you own an EV. If you own or rent a single-family home, up to 96% of those homes have a garage, a carport, or a private driveway. That's tens of millions of households who can install and use a level 1 charger. You know, the one that uses a plug that looks like this and goes into an outlet that looks like this. That's pretty standard here in the USA. They can even install a level 2 charger that looks like this and uses an outlet like this one. And they can enjoy faster AC charging. I would not recommend using your dryer outlet without getting it inspected and verified by an electrician. But that's an entirely different video, and we'll talk about that in the future. Now, both types are the cheapest, that is the level 1 and level 2. These are the cheapest and most convenient charging available anywhere. And here is what you get. Number 1, no hunting for public stations. Number 2, no premium per kilowatt hour pricing. You just simply plug in, go to bed, and wake up ready to roll. Now, let's get into the part that apparently only engineers and non-EV influencers are supposed to understand. There are 3 levels of EV charging, and knowing which one is right for you comes down to one simple and easy to answer question. How far do you drive every day? If you drive 40 miles or less every day, that standard level 1 charger using a standard 120 volt household outlet like this one, the same one you plug your lamps into, is all you need. No special equipment, no electrician, just your cord and the charger that very likely came with your car. This is actually called an EVSE, electric vehicle service equipment, and level 1 version delivers roughly 3 to 5 miles of range per hour of charging. But going forward, to keep this simple, we will call this smart cable and that EVSE, we're just going to call it a charger. But in reality, all EVs have onboard AC chargers that deliver DC power to the battery for storage. And that's all you need to know. Nothing more technical than that. Now, before you dismiss that level 1 as being too slow, again, if you drive less than 40 miles a day, level 1 is genuinely all you need. Plug in when you get home, wake up fully charged. What a concept. Now, we've been conditioned to do that with our phone for over 2 decades. It costs you nothing extra to set up, and your electric bill will barely move. For millions of Americans, that's 65 to 67%, that is commuters, retirees, around town drivers, level 1 is the perfect and most highly underrated solution there is out there. But level 2 takes us to a different level, so to speak. Level 2 again uses this 1450 plug and goes into an outlet that looks like this. That's the same voltage as your dryer or your electric range. And it delivers 20 to 30 miles of range per hour, meaning most EVs go from nearly empty to fully charged overnight in about 4 to 8 hours. Personally, I have 2 of these units in my garage because my commute and my wife's commute are both over 50 miles per day. Mine is actually upwards of 110 miles each day. So I definitely need a level 2 charger. If you drive more than 80 miles a day, level 2 at home is not optional. It is absolutely essential. But here's what surprises most people. Getting level 2 installed is way cheaper than you think. Like I said, if you already have a charger like this one, getting a 240 volt outlet installed will cost you between $200 and $300 if the outlet is located near your electrical box like mine was. Or you can get a dedicated EVSE, again charger, that's a fancy term for that unit, installed for anywhere between $600 and $800 in most markets, including parts and labor. If your electrical panel is already modern and your garage is close to it, you're often at the lower end of that range. Now, some utility companies actually offer rebates that bring the cost down. We're talking an investment, a one-time investment that pays for itself in months compared to what you'd spend on public charging. And getting help from your electric provider can offset most of those costs. Now, what about that middle ground? What if you drive more than 40 but less than 80 miles a day? That puts you in a zone where level 1 might keep up on most days, but you could occasionally find yourself running low. So what would be the smart play in that situation? Well, I would recommend level 1 at home plus a weekly DC fast charge session when you need to top up. DC fast charge is the rapid charging you see at stations along highways, and it is from charging networks like Electrify America or Tesla or Iona or Walmart, ChargePoint, EVgo. I could go on for hours. But those fast charge chargers add 100 to 200 miles of range to your car in 20 to 30 minutes. It costs more per kilowatt hour than home charging, which is why you don't want to rely on it for daily operations. But once a week to supplement the overnight level 1, that's a practical, affordable strategy that works for a huge slice of EV drivers. Now, DC fast charge brings the cost of operating an EV back up to be comparable to a gas car if that's all you're doing is DC fast charging. But with the price of gas climbing like Artemis 2 headed to the moon, that may not be an issue for very long. The bottom line is there's no one-size-fits-all answer, but there is a right answer for your situation, and now you know how to find that answer. And now, because I'm clairvoyant and I can hear the comments already clattering away on the keyboard, I know somebody's going to ask about the 1 in 3 Americans who does not have a driveway or a garage or a private parking spot. That is millions of Americans who live in apartments, condos, or townhomes with shared parking or just street spots. And for them, just plug in at home has not been an option. And that gap has been one of the biggest real-world barriers to going electric. That is until now. Because that gap is closing fast. Smart technology, innovative companies, and smarter laws are turning apartment parking lots into EV charging hubs. And property managers no longer have to choose between upgrading their building and keeping their tenants happy. Modern multifamily charging solutions use metered level 2 chargers, and even smart electrical outlets installed right in apartment garages or parking lots. Residents open up an app, they start a session, and they pay only for the electricity they actually use. Nobody subsidizes anyone else. It's a fair and transparent way to do business, and it works. The real magic here is intelligent load management. These systems monitor the building's electrical demand in real time and distribute power smartly, so dozens of cars can charge simultaneously without overwhelming the building's electrical system. In many cases, no expensive infrastructure upgrade is needed at all. And there's no shortage of companies that are making this happen. AmpUp, they're an app-based charging management system with flexible billing, reservations, and dynamic load balancing. They're built for apartments and condos from the ground up. Switch Energy, also smart outlets and cloud-based load management that can support dozens of charging stations without major electrical work. They're a favorite for retrofitting older buildings. PowerFlex, again, they're adaptive load management for large apartment portfolios, and it scales from 10 units to hundreds. ChargePoint, yes, that ChargePoint, they're a rock-solid multifamily solution with seamless resident billing integrated. And finally, one that I'm sure you've all heard of is Qmerit. They offer full turnkey service, including the designs, the permits, the installation, and ongoing management. And all of that is handled from day one. These are not pilot programs. They're happening right now. For example, in California, PowerFlex installed smart charging at Vasara in Menlo Park and Lynn Haven in San Jose, using adaptive load management to avoid costly panel upgrades. Utility programs are rolling out chargers across hundreds of apartment sites statewide in California. And in New York, Switch Energy helped the lofts at Beacon scale from 10 chargers to a potential 40 without touching the electrical panel. Residents get private, app-controlled access, and that's zero headaches for property managers. And it's not just the coasts. Colorado, Illinois, Oregon, states across the country are seeing the same story, driven by right-to-charge laws that prevent landlords and HOAs from blocking residents who want EV charging. These laws are game changers. They shift the conversation from, can we do this, to how fast can we get it done? So here is where we land. The 65% single-family dwellers already have it pretty easy. Whether they need level 1 or level 2, home charging is cheap, private, and pretty much effortless. Now, the 35%, that's the apartment dwellers, condo residents, urban renters, they're no longer left behind. Smart companies, forward-thinking property managers, and supportive legislation are closing that gap right now. Home charging is not a luxury. It is the standard for every EV driver in every type of home. So tell me, Alec, how'd I do? And for everyone else, if you're a renter who wants charging at your building or a property manager exploring your options, drop a comment below. I try to read everyone and I respond when I have the time. And if this video changed how you think about home charging, hit that like button and please do subscribe because we're just getting started. Oh, and the link to the video from Alec is in the description below. I'm only going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Next time, Alec, if you want 5 stars, please don't insult us EV influencers. We're good guys too. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you out there or somewhere along the route from point A to point B. Happy charging, and I'll see you all real soon.